What's going on, everybody? This is Island Hopper TV coming to you from Beirut, Lebanon. Let's do it. That's right, guys. This was my first time in Beirut, Lebanon, and I really did not know what to expect. A city with 2.4 million people, making it the third largest city in the Levant region, on the farmost east side of the Mediterranean Sea.
My city is the most beautiful city in the world.
I will say the arrival into Beirut is very beautiful for sure. Now, when you get on the ground in Beirut, you will discover that there is some trouble that has been plaguing the country of Lebanon and Beirut. But this is a video through our experience. Thank you to Hussein, the driver who showed us around Lebanon. We stayed at the Sheraton 4 Points Hotel right here in Beirut. And once we did get settled in, we ended up getting in the car with Hussein and he showed us around. The total population of Lebanon is 5.5 million and it is the capital. The currency is known as the Lebanese pound. And here we are looking at the Pigeon Rocks. This is a famous rock formation where people like to take jet skis or boats around and hang out. It's kind of like a water park oasis with caves and nice beaches nearby. And this beachfront area you're looking at is known as General de Gaulle Road. This is one of the areas you can consider getting a hotel, although I would recommend another area which we will be showing you later on. Another thing I would like to point out is a very volatile currency situation going on in Lebanon, so try and bring US dollars before you arrive here. And right next to the Movenpick Resort, you have a beach here. There's the Movenpick with the marina right below it. Yeah, if you did choose to stay by Pigeon Rock, then do check out the Movenpick Marina area. And from Pigeon Rocks and the Movenpick, we will head down to one of the only public beaches in all of Lebanon. Most of the beaches are private. This beach is known as Ramlet Al Baida. Most of the beaches in Beirut are actually private. This is the only public beach, and in Arabic it essentially translates in English to white sand beach. You know, down here on this beach you will find some chairs and shade, but there's not much vegetation, so don't expect that. They do have volleyball in the sand. They also have some basketball courts, and there are some people actually swimming in the waters down here. I didn't notice many restaurants, although I did see something open for concessions where you can get food and drinks, it looked like. We were here in early September 2022, so it was very hot out when we were walking around at 5 p.m. in the afternoon. I would recommend probably a morning or evening swim because it does get very hot down here. But then again, you get in that water, you do cool off. And now we're heading around the bend here on the peninsula on a road called Paris. As some of you may know, Lebanon or Beirut was known as the Paris of the Middle East for many years before the Civil War. And we're actually approaching the harbor where the bomb went off, so you will see some buildings that are starting to come back to life. Here we are on Tuna Harbor. If you look behind me, you could see some yachts. And right over here is many restaurants, which we're going to go take a look at right now on this boardwalk. And Zaituney Bay here is a happening spot with shops and restaurants. You can get some retail shopping done if you need to. And overall, just a nice promenade to hang out right across the street from the old Four Seasons that is being reconstructed due to the damage that it received from the bomb that went off in 2020, which we will be touching on here a little later on in the travel guide. And I'm not going to sit here and say that Beirut is the idyllic vacation destination. but I will say that the people are resilient, and I do believe that in the near future, Beirut will reclaim its former glory as an amazing travel destination along the Mediterranean Sea here. It is truly one of the most beautiful places in the Middle East, especially with its views of the Mediterranean. A city and a nation in recovery that is on its path to a great future. And I'm sure some of you are curious about the general safety of walking around Beirut, and I would say Hussein definitely did a great job showing us around, but also just walking around Beirut did feel safe, and I felt like the Lebanese people and the citizens of Beirut were very friendly and warm-hearted. And overall, I would say this is one of the best areas to stay when you do come to Beirut. So if you are looking for an area, this is the place that I did say that I would recommend checking out or considering a stay. And as we continue down the road here, you can see the harbor in the background where the actual explosion happened. So this area that we're standing right now is where the actual bomb went off here at the harbor. If you look off to the side where the freeway is here, you can see everything that was in its path, all those buildings, all took heavy damage, and they're starting to rebuild it finally. But that's been 2 years. It happened in August 2020. Huge bomb if you looked it up on YouTube. And there were many people driving on this freeway right here that were in its path of the shock that came from the explosion. But as you can see, the resiliency of Beirut to come back and build itself again, even right here along the harbor where the incident happened. And you can see just cruising around Beirut, you can see these high rises and these old buildings. And now we will head into the town to Harma Street and show you another side to Beirut. And if you guys are enjoying this travel guide so far, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to the channel, and even turning on the bell to get notified when we make a new travel guide. We're actually headed toward Jordan, Israel, and Egypt next. So stay tuned for that. Let's keep going. So what we're going to do now is we're going to walk around Harma Street, which translates in Arabic to red. This is the second downtown area, you could call it, but it's just a road where they have restaurants and stores to do some shopping. Let's take a look. So here in Beirut, the population is around 2.1 to 3 million people, depending on if they're counting the refugees from Syria or Palestine. But the Lebanese people were around about 1.5 million. So overall, you could say 2 to 3 million people live here in Beirut. This is more of an authentic Beirut kind of neighborhood right here on the peninsula area. You can stay here in Airbnbs or hotels, but walking around here, you get a feel for what it's like to actually be in a Beirut neighborhood community. Very authentic feeling. and not as much as the touristic kind of places along the waterfront. With plenty of street art around here, as you can see with these murals on the buildings. I was walking across the street and I saw this beautiful tree growing over a store called Henry's Handmade. Let's go see what they got in here. Ended up getting this pinky ring here from Henry's Handmade, and he gives you these bags that are made from recycled paper here in Beirut. So what Henry was just telling us was 100 years ago, this was just a plantation, fields and kind of like a desert, and this house was one of the only structures there, this apartment building here, 3 stories. Nowadays, it's obviously a bustling street. And we just actually started talking to Henry, and he's got a lot of information about Beirut, so...
Yeah, my city is the most beautiful city in the world, in my point of view. And I'm so happy to be Lebanese, and I'm so happy to be here. Welcome to Beirut and Lebanon.
And if you actually want to come visit Henry, you can find him there on Harma Street. He has a wealth of information about the history of the area if you guys want to go see him, check out his jewelry, and learn something. And now our driver, Hussein, is actually going to take us towards downtown Beirut, where we'll walk around Martyr Square, the Mohammed Al Amin Mosque, and just check out the area around here. It's actually more of a ritzy kind of place, with a bit of a colonial past, as you'll see by the architecture and the old buildings. And the area that we're headed actually tells a bit of a historical relevance regarding the civil war that took place in Lebanon, which we will be getting into as we approach. Yeah, actually, if you guys look at that statue there, you can see bullet holes from the snipers during the Civil War. Here's some interesting information to know about the Civil War in Beirut. To the west was considered the Christian side, to the east was considered the Muslim side, and then right here in the middle where the downtown area is, that was like the cross section between East and West Beirut. And inside of Beirut, you'll also find remnants and ruins of the old Greco-Roman civilizations that used to be in the area. So many areas of the downtown are like a ghost town right now, considering the last 3 years of events from 2018 till now. This place, Beirut, has really changed. It's going to come back at some point in time, but right now this is the state here in August 2022. You've got all these storefronts, shops, basically chained up. You got those barricades right in front of the windows. You can see this small prayer corner right here. If you look up close there, in 1990, that's what it looked like. Nowadays, downtown has really been built up, especially after the Civil War, but it's a nice picture of what it looked like in 1990. And here's the timeline dating all the way back to 3000 BC. You'll notice these yellow buildings in downtown. That's the old architecture of the original Beyrouth. Nowadays we know of it as Beirut, but back in the 1920s, 1900s, this is how they were building the buildings. Now, these are luxury stores. For those of you who are thinking about coming to Lebanon and renting a car, you might want to think again. No traffic lights, and traffic just kind of goes as it wants. So if you're not used to that kind of driving, you might want to reconsider getting a rental car here. Or getting a private driver like Hussein to show you around. He was really helpful. I'd like to give a big thanks to Hussein here, who showed us all around Beirut while we're here 24 hours. Excellent tour. I highly recommend it. And then you come to Beirut and you see a mall like this, which is totally modern and well kept.